Hello, welcome to today's webinar. We will be going through how to create a video in Hypernatural, but today's webinar is a deep dive. We're going to spend a little bit more time on some workflows, a little bit more in the editor, and not so much the initial creation of a video. My name is Christina. I am a member of the Hypernatural team, and I'm excited to go through this demo with you all today. Couple things to highlight. If you are looking for more of a getting started, I haven't created my first video type of situation. My suggestion would be to attend a Hypernatural 101 session or to go back into our YouTube and you can find past recordings of the 101 session. And then you can also watch recordings of the deep dive session once you're ready to watch something that goes a little deeper into the editor. Um, Again, today's session, I won't go through too much over the dashboard and how to create an initial video. My assumption here is that folks will have already created some videos and are kind of looking for a little bit more tips and tricks to how to improve the output of their videos. Okay, so let's get started. Here is our Hypernatural dashboard. Hopefully it looks familiar to the folks on this call. Um, Here is where we kind of start doing any of the creation. I'm going to start with my number one tip, which is unless you really have no idea what you're creating, I actually wouldn't start here. I would start in my videos. I would start with figuring out what style you want, figuring out whether or not you want a product or some sort of consistent object in your video, and figuring out what characters you want. I'm going to go through the creation of a few of the characters that I'm showing you here today and the style and the product, etc. Really, today's video will be a continuation of our most recent Hypernatural 101, where we created an ad for a pair of sneakers, and going a little bit more in depth and making that video better and match a little bit more of what we're looking for. So, um, in creating a style, we're going to start here. Creating a style, and the reason I'm going to go through even these is because I think it's really important that we really understand like what it means to create a style for a video, what it means to create a product or a character for a video. Um, we have a ton of styles already built into Hypernatural, as you know, that you can pick from a ton of the styles here that exist in every Hypernatural user's account. One of the things to highlight is when you create a style, like, it really does make a difference in the output of your videos. So for instance, I created a style called disposable camera. I separately created a style called daylight ads. And oh, and actually I also created a style called UGC, right, which is supposed to center, person-centered type of video. So these are three different styles, technically. Although they are all photorealistic styles, they are all meant to showcase something different or have like a slightly different look. So daylight ads is really about it's sunlit, cinematic, it's like high-end fashion. The mood is like a premium lifestyle brand campaign. Disposable camera here is a little bit grainier, 90s style, low, like not super high, lo-fi fidelity. It's still photorealistic. And then similar for UGC, still photorealistic, but it's a little bit more person-centered, so that you're getting this like mid-torso look. UGC is a little bit of a tricky style. We are working on ways to actually get a UGC style into the platform, but this is like a hacky way if you're trying to create some sort of UGC style video. All right, so these three styles are the three custom styles I've created prior to today. I'm going to showcase a little bit about what these look like. So for daylight ads, an output for that is this video.
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make
Right, so you're seeing that in this video, it's a little bit more bright and sunny. It's more ad looking, it's high-end campaign vibe. So it is following that type of style, daylight ads. Now, the lo-fi grainy disposable camera style is this video.
Tired of blending in? Step out in style that truly pops. Bounce retro sneakers, redefine your stride, turning every journey.
Right, so you're kind of seeing, especially in this photograph, you're seeing this like disposable camera look where the background is darker. It's a little bit more focused on just like high contrast on the person and the object. So like you're seeing the differences between the styles. So again, this is just to highlight, and then I'll do a quick UGC one. right? So here, then you have like a little bit more centered where it gets a little confusing. And why I would work on this style if this was something I really wanted is because it's sneakers, it's going to obviously focus on the sneakers.
The Bounce Retro sneakers, retro pink, casual chic.
So like
Others
this
just
one.
shine and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers.
So obviously this is still great output, but it's not the output I was necessarily looking for. So if I wanted to really get this, I would think a little bit more about what the UGC style is, how I can alter it to really get what I want, or I would focus more on like what the actual scene descriptions would be. Okay, so that's just kind of showcasing like the three different styles, like three different outputs for three different styles. Sorry, I realized I didn't say this at the top of the call, but I will do a Q&A for the last like 15 to 20 minutes. So depending on how many questions come in. So if you want to just start adding your questions, you can add them into the chat, you can add them into the Q&A, and I will try to get to those at the end and like leave some time for questions. If not, if there are no questions, then I will just continue going and like kind of going through some tips and tricks. So that's for style. The one thing to also highlight about style is actually, I'll create a new style. So you can create a style from images. So if I wanted to create like a disposable camera style, right? Uh, and do it from images. So I have three images here that kind of fit that vibe, right? Disposable camera. Okay, so slightly grainy look. And then I can generate and create this style. Name this one. And then you can see it kind of gives you the description. So based on these images, here's the description that it'll go for. So it's helpful to see the description, kind of just to get a sense of whether or not this is actually what you're looking for. Um, and it's like grainy analog film style. So it also like renames the style to better fit the description based on the photos that you've uploaded. This is totally a way to do this. I would suggest that if you are very clear on what style you'd like and you can get it as close as possible with words and like with prompt, my preferred version is using the prompt. And the reason for this is that it provides a little bit more control over what it is that you're giving the system. So in this situation, this is not an example of this, but let's say I wanted to upload a video. I've seen an example where like I'm uploading a video and it's like a grocery store aisle. And that's like, or not a video, an image, and it's a grocery store aisle. And that's like the style I'm looking for. It's not necessarily the grocery store aisle that I'm looking for, but I'm looking for that general style of like what it looks like to be in a grocery store. Sometimes you can upload one image of something very specific like that, and the system might say like, oh, you want grocery store aisles everywhere, or you're looking for the specific thing to be in your shots everywhere. Um, so that's just something to keep in mind when using images. And that's why it's important to take a peek at the description here. So if it says something crazy like cameras everywhere or like, um, yeah, disposable camera, like if starts to name objects, then there's a higher possibility that your video will then include those objects. So it's not so much that the uploading images is a bad idea. It's just it requires a little bit more intentionality in reviewing what actually gets described once you've uploaded those images. Whereas when you start from prompt, you can kind of just start writing whatever. And now, obviously, like this takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of support to kind of get a sense of like what style you're looking for. Um, but personally, like this is something that has given me better fidelity when creating a style. So something to keep in mind. And you can do something like vintage, black and white, 80s, trying to use that type of language or like yeah, low fidelity, high fidelity, ultra realistic. Things of that sort to kind of get a sense of what you actually want the style of the video to look like. And this is true, right? You do like 3D animation, 2D animation. Um, this is like, it just helps you, I think, get a little bit more clear on what it is that you're looking for. So that's a little bit on styles. In terms of products, products is one of our newest feature. Uh, As you can see, I only have one reference image here. This is not best practice. I would highly suggest uploading the 6 reference images if you're going to create a product. A hack for products is also that maybe it's not a product you're looking for, but maybe it's a consistent object that you want to include in your video. You can use products as a way to get that object consistently throughout your video, whether it be like a car or and maybe again, maybe it's not like an ad about that car, but it's like that car is just consistent in your story. Or anything of that sort that like you're looking for something that to look the same in each scene. Again, upload up to 6 images. I would do it, try to get different angles of the same thing, instead of just doing one image, because then obviously the system is then making assumptions on what the top of the shoes look like, what the back of the shoes look like based on this image. And if you want a little bit more control in terms of what the back of the shoes and the top of the shoes look like, it's probably better to just upload images of the object from multiple angles. This can also help with size. So if it's a thing that like is a certain size, to try to upload an image of it in relation to something else will help kind of determine the size of that item. Okay, and then lastly, we have characters. Okay, so for these videos, I had created 2 characters. I created both of these characters from a prompt. Um, Tips on creating characters. To create a character, you can, and I think this is like our most used way of creating a character, right? Is to upload an image of that character. You get this image, you have to name the character, and then generate. Creating characters from images is a great option if you are trying to replicate a specific person, if you are adding yourself as a character here, or a person that you have permission to replicate. This is obviously the better option because it gets closer to what that person actually looks like instead of you trying to prompt what that person looks like. So if that is your goal and you're trying to like replicate a person, create the character. And I would say, in terms of when you're casting, some folks maybe are looking for a very specific person and they're just kind of typing that person like into the prompt box. Some models will respect that and be like, great, yeah, I'll give you a ton of images of X person. But that is not always the case for copyright reasons. It might not always feed that person. So if you do have permission to use the likeness of someone and you want to create that character, the best option is always to create the character, instead of trying to like test the model's ability to give you, oh no. All right. Well, let's see. Um, yeah, instead of trying to test the model's ability to actually give you that exact person that you're looking for. This just provides some better consistency. Okay, let's see if it works this time. So this is, again, great way to create a character from images if you have a specific person that you're looking for, that you would like to create a character of. If not, and you are just trying to get a vibe of a person, then you could create from prompt. This original character actually is created from a prompt. So okay, this is not working, but let's just go look at this person's prompt. So here are the details from this person. The prompt I use. Sorry, prompt I use was, just so you can see, stylish woman, curly, dirty blonde hair, soft freckles, high-waisted jeans. I kind of describe the outfit, the sneakers, the jewelry, and the more specific I get, the more consistency I'll get. So clean white sneakers is, that's, I guess, yeah, if you want to keep just clean white sneakers, you can get even more specific and name a type of sneaker. Clean white leather sneakers, just kind of like get to that consistency more and more. Delicate gold jewelry, complete the look. Again, same thing, like delicate gold jewelry could be anything. It could be necklaces, it could be earrings. So to get even more specific and to ensure that there is consistency in terms of that jewelry, I could say like dainty, gold necklace with a simple diamond, just to kind of get that consistency in terms of what the person's like total look will be. So this is the prompt I used to create this character, Jamie. So you can see the, this is ultimately what came out of Jamie's prompt. And then for Aaliyah, I created her as well. Obviously, again, described her outfit, described earrings, described the hair, skin tone, body build, etc., to kind of get the output here, but she was also created with a prompt directly in Hypernatural. Okay, so let's go into, this is the last video we had created. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna just go into one of these videos. So we're in the editor now. We've created an ad for these sneakers. We have the characters. We actually do have both characters in this, but I removed images with the other character. So script, yeah. So Aaliyah's in this video, so I can reference her if I want to swap an image and create a new image with her in it. Um, and the goal here is really to get a video that kind of has her, walking around the city, showcasing her sneakers. I think I really like this image where the sneakers are centered a little bit more. And I might want another image where the sneakers are centered. This image here, she's holding the sneakers, so I don't want to use this image. So just kind of giving a sense of like the different things I will change as I'm creating this video. For the sake of starting from scratch, I am going to start from here. So I'm selecting this image here to look at some options for replacing this one. Because I've already generated a ton of images for this character, I'm going to go to generated. I'm going to go to images, and I'm going back to the still version of this specific image. So here it is. Same for this one. I'm going to go back to this still image. Oh no. Okay, actually, I'll do this again. So what I had done is I selected edit and I wanted to change the sneaker to the sneakers that we have here. So make the sneakers retro sneakers. Make. Okay, so this is, I like this image, and I want to keep like this general image, but I obviously want her wearing the sneakers that I'm trying to sell. So as you can see, I've done this in the past, so here is actually the first time I tried to do this. And then here, I want to generate something completely new. Um, I, and I think I want to add maybe two more scenes here. I'm probably going to update the script a little bit. So I'm going to come here. If I click in between these two words, I get this option to insert a new scene. So I'm going to do that. So now I get two scenes that I get to replace. Obviously, like I don't want this scene to just be the word sneakers, so I'm going to change this script a little bit to add more here. Now for this one, oh no, did this not change?
To show up and somehow make everything look cooler.
Okay,
Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers.
take a look as to why that didn't change. But for now, let me go back here. Okay, and then here she's walking, showing the sneakers. Nope. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna click on this, I'm gonna do a swap, and then I'm gonna generate a whole new image. So the setting here, just to check, it's still bright, bunny, okay, coming through large windows. This is an indoor setting, so I'm gonna change this back to the setting here, go swap, setting, and select, and just copy and paste the setting to create some consistency across the setting. Let me make sure. Oh, actually, I like this. Okay. Okay. A close up of the retro sneakers crossing street as other people crossing the street. So I'm probably clean this up a little bit, but let's see if this works. So essentially what I'm trying to get is like she's walking across the street, but it's also busy and there are other folks on the street. Let me see, crossing the busy street. See if that works. Okay, so here I've made the swap for both the like the general image, like what action is happening, and then also the setting for this image. And then for this one, here, this was the new scene I created, so that's why there isn't a prompt in here. I'm going to have Leah waving to Jamie from the other side of the street. And then, no, let's do this one. I'm gonna get the settings from, oh no, oh, from this one. Okay, so her outfit definitely changed here. Let me, hmm, no, I'm gonna try this one more time. And then for this one, this again, Leah waving and smiling at Jamie as she crosses the street. View from Jamie's back. Okay. Okay, so as this kind of creates this, I want to think a little bit about what I want to change the script to. Of course, this isn't a situation where I've already created a script, but now I just like want to add a little bit more to it. Okay. And then see what this one comes up with. I want to add a little bit more to it, just so I can get more scenes in this. As this loads, I'm gonna go back here. Great. Um, I'll also kind of showcase what I did here to get these videos. We've released this new like at mentions function. If you use voiceover often, the at mentions go away. The reason for that is when you use voiceover, it is quite literally what the speaker is saying. So adding, at character or at product, etc., means that the speaker is actually going to say at Bounce Retro Sneakers, and it's not just going to include them in your video. So something to keep in mind with voiceover. Of course, like if you want that thing to show up in your voiceover, um, you could add the at, it'll work. Like we haven't disabled this part, so you could do this and then just remove the narrator saying these words after the fact. But for now, we're gonna go move this. At Jamie walking around the city in her bounce, bounce retro. Oh, sorry. Duh, at, at bounce retro sneakers. Um, close-up shots of her sneakers. Meets with Aaliyah. And we're going to do at disposable camera. No, sorry, we're going to do at daylight ads. So for things like this, sometimes it helps me personally, like if I don't have an exact idea of what I want the ad to say or how I want the ad to look, I might create a couple different versions of it. And the reason for that is like one, I get a whole list of items to then work from, especially if I'm using the same style and the same characters. Ooh, I'm gonna make sure I add Aaliyah here. Uh, right, so they'll create a little bit more consistency in what that looks like. Okay. Oh, this is a little bit more story. Okay, yeah. Something also that yes, in this situation, I made it like a story. She's in her sneakers. It's not really about her sneakers. So instead, go back, I'm gonna say an ad for at Bounce Retro Sneakers, where Jamie is walking around confidently. Okay. Now I could set the link for this to something, I mean, I think for an ad, I probably don't want something very long. We're gonna go with clip. When you are creating a script and you are copying and pasting a script, even if you set the length for 10 minutes, that's not going to work because you've ultimately have given the system the full script to work with. So it's going to just stick to what the script is. So something to keep in mind. I know we get this question a lot about how to make a 10-minute ad. One, it's like you got to give the system enough to work with. So also giving them one little prompt and then asking for 10 minutes, I think is really hard for something to just give you full 10 minutes from like something very slight. So give it enough to work with, select 10 minutes, or, copy and paste a 10-minute script. Okay, so for this, I mean, it's already put in all the things that I've added, but if I wanted to change anything, I could also come here and edit Jamie before generating the script. Same with Aaliyah. I could edit their voice, I could edit their look, or I could create a whole new character and create this video. So again, I like creating a couple of different variations because it helps me then pick the right visuals for my video at the end. If I have things to kind of look back at and say like, okay, I really like this image, I like this image. So for that reason, I like to create short clips to start. It helped one, I'm like being effective, I'm using my credits more effectively. I'm not creating like a 5-minute video in one, but I'm creating a couple of different short clips to kind of get a sense of like, is this style working for me? Are these characters looking right? And I'll try to create like 3 to 4 scenes to start. So that kind of helps like set the tone instead of immediately creating a 10-minute video and then feeling like, oh crap, like that didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. So I have to go back and recreate that 10-minute video. So something just to consider in like your workflow is that it could be helpful just to do a little bit of testing with like a short video before you create your full production. Let's go back to this video and see if this is done now. Great, so there she is. Aaliyah's crossing the street. She's meeting up with her. I'm still not positive that I love this image. So this is a situation where I might like go look at prior images and see what looks better. Oh, interesting. Like product shot. I like that. Okay. This is something that was created for the other video. You can see like she's meeting up with her friends. So this is probably just images that got created with the video that I just created. So it's nice to have access to like a lot of different examples and like possible images that I can use. I think especially when you're creating ads for products, it is helpful to get as many variations of a product ad as possible. So let's see what we have here.
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers. I love my Bounce Retro sneakers.
Right,
Some
so
sneakers try
to change this one. I did I did ultimately like the lip sync on
love
this,
my Bounce Retro sneakers.
but it is weird that she's holding the sneakers. So for this one, let's go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna create a new one for this as well. Oh, I like this. Oh, this was the busy street one I created. Whoops. Okay. Let's do this. I like this ending. Okay. So now I want to edit the script. If I feel good about like just the script in general and I don't want to make edits to the script, what I would do is I would just move things around and kind of try to time it a little better. So,
some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cool.
right. So if I say others, maybe again, maybe I want to swap some of these images around. I'm going to do images here. I'm going to select, okay, here we go. And then I actually gonna move this image here. And then if what I want to do is I actually don't want this last scene anymore, I'm gonna just move this and then remove this scene here. This is helpful if you don't want to keep paying for regenerations. You can only do this in desktop where you can kind of move the word line around. And this doesn't make you regenerate the audio, just to like remove a scene or, move the timing of the scene around. So something just to keep in mind. I'm gonna do,
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers. I love my Bounce Retro sneakers. Some
no,
sneakers try too hard.
this last scene probably doesn't make too much sense. From a marketing perspective, we probably will want to change that. But for now, we'll keep this as is. In terms of script, right, I could also move things around here, but the primary reason to use this is maybe I don't want Jamie speaking in this last one, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Narrator, meet the bounce retro sneakers, make everything look cooler. Oh, or, and feel as cool as you look, since we're not looking at the sneakers in this last one. All right, we're going to regenerate. This regenerates the entire audio track. So another tip here with making changes to your script. A couple of things in terms of if you're not positive that this is a script you're going for, or you might want to make some changes, sometimes maybe it's helpful to use a non-premium voice. In your initial script, it helps you save until you get that right. As you're regenerating, non-premium voices are cheaper to regenerate. So you could use a non-premium voice, keep regenerating, and then when you're ready and you're like, yes, this feels good, you could then enter your custom voice or your premium voice. So something just to keep in mind if you're finding yourself constantly regenerating audio, that could be a way to kind of save up some credits. But definitely make sure you try to make as many edits as possible in one go. It does regenerate the entire audio track when you regenerate, so it's going to cost the exact same amount to regenerate just a comma or regenerate 5 different scenes at once. So just keep that in mind when regenerating audio. Now, let's go to audio here. So we have, okay, well, actually, before we change this, let's go back to the initial video. This original, oh, so wait, so this video created these scenes that we're seeing here. It's a little longer and has a lot of really cool, it gave us a lot of really cool shots of the sneakers. And then just like, whoa, lots of sneakers. Um,
Ready to own your day? Bounce Retro sneakers aren't just shoes. They're a statement of effortless cool and undeniable comfort. From bustling streets to casual meetups, your style keeps pace. With their vibrant pastel colors and retro charm, you'll turn heads everywhere. Feel the difference, live the confidence, step into your next adventure, discover the Bounce Retro sneakers, shop now and bounce into style.
and bounce into style, cute. So again, this is like a longer version. Um, but I think to me, this was helpful in the sense that I could steal some of the images from that. I probably want to stick to my initial script. So we're going to come back here. Now, as you can see, these songs are automatically included to videos now.
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneaker.
Okay, so maybe I don't like this song. Maybe I want to go for something different. This is a song. Right now it's at 14%, whereas the voiceover volume is at 100%, which makes sense to me. Here I can go for different songs, so I want to maybe go ambient or experimental. Kind of gives you more of a lo-fi vibe. Obviously, acoustic felt good, but maybe I want something a little bit more exciting. Mood, confident.
Sunrise.
Oh, and then yeah, so we have songs that also have vocals in them if you wanted to. And you're like, wow, how am I going to do vocals and the narration? In that situation, if you really just wanted something that was like just images and you wanted to use a song with vocals, you could take the voiceover volume all the way down. So like the timing is still set based on the words within each scene. But then you could use a song with vocals. Let's say I'm gonna go vocals only. And what this does is now I've selected the song. Now if I start from the beginning of this, obviously this doesn't match this specific video, but just a hack if you're curious about how to create a video that doesn't include the voiceover. Something to call out here is obviously that the scene length is tied to the voiceover. So, if you wanted to make the scene a little longer, but you don't really care what the narration is, you could just add random words to the scenes and then turn the voiceover volume all the way down. So that kind of keeps the scenes a little bit longer. We're working on making edits to the timeline to kind of create a little bit more flexibility here, but that is a current workaround. Now let's go back to audio, put the voiceover volume back, and then I'm gonna select instrumental only, confident, pop. Oh, well then there you go. No confident pop. Let's see. Okay, rock feels good. A little bit more upbeat. Okay.
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look.
Okay, I like this. And going back to audio, I think the only thing is I might make the volume here a little lower and I'll fade in and out.
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the
Okay.
Bounce Retro sneaker.
Now I also, because we're, nearing that 20-minute mark, I also want to animate this and kind of go through what the different options are for animating a scene. So if you wanted to animate just a specific scene, you could go here. And obviously this makes sense if you're not trying to pay to animate all the scenes. This also gives you a little bit more control over what the animation prompt is. But you can see the animation prompt already here is a woman walks confidently past a bustling cafe. If you wanted to go with full motion, you could just kind of check what these are, kind of get a sense of like, yeah, this feels right. Strides forward here. So this is probably a really boring animation, which I mean, it kind of makes sense when you're kind of just like zeroing in on a product. But here I might say like uh, slow zoom in on the sneakers. Oh, or actually, you know what? Let's do this. 360 view of sneakers. Okay, so this is because I want a little bit more control over what this animation prompt looks like. My general workflow is actually usually that I just go full animation pretty quickly. So for this, actually, let me check this last animation prompt. All right, so we're gonna add motion to these. Um, the other ones are pretty simple animation prompts, so um, I'm okay with those kind of being as they are. So in the interest of time, let's start to go through. Oh, you can't hear the songs. Oh no. Could you hear any of the animation? Sorry, not the animation, the narration on this video? Maybe not. Okay. All right, well, you can, if you go into your own Hypernatural, you'll be able to preview all the songs. I could hear them. I'm sorry you couldn't hear them. But you can preview them. Okay, great. So you can hear the songs. Sometimes I guess maybe just like the screen share to on Zoom doesn't catch on that the songs. I see. Okay. Yeah. So yes, those are working. I attest to. I could hear them, so they are working, and they're actually a little louder than the narration. So something to just keep in mind as you're pressing play. Some folks are like, "Oh my God, this didn't expect this to be so loud." Um, Going through these questions as this animates. To sort uploaded images. Oh, okay, great question. So we don't have, you are not able to sort. That's a good point. Um, but you can search uploaded images. So if, for instance, you wanted to, yeah, search here, I know that can be a little overwhelming to make sure that the naming is correct. We are thinking more about ways to like kind of group things together in projects. So this has been a question that has come up, and I will definitely share this feedback with the team. Okay, so the question here, sometimes I make videos the app uses off-the-wall images, such as one it showed a man from the 1920s with the bowler hat and also a scene from with Robin Hood in it. The video was for a product I was making a saleable video for. Okay, something to keep in mind because I have seen this come up is, and this, I wish I could do this on mobile. On mobile, when you are creating an image or sorry, creating a video, the top line where it has like the characters and the style, it's scrollable. So I think it can be a little easy to miss if somehow accidentally Robin Hood got we do have a Robin Hood stock character, so especially when someone names a character that we have in our stocks, I'm like, oh, this probably means that like Robin Hood was casted for a specific character, and like you just need to scroll all the way through to make sure that you can see the list of characters. So this is especially true if you're creating on mobile. It's super easy to miss. And I will share that feedback back with the team because I've gotten a few questions about this recently. But just make sure you're scrolling all the way down before you create and generate your image because if you've selected the wrong character, then it's going to stay there. And yes, it's still available. You can still you can still reanimate images for 0 credits. So sorry, reanimate, not re you can reanimate an animation for 0 credits, but here's the catch on that. That is only true if you are quite simply just reanimating. So let's say we're gonna go back here. This is where we were. If I go here, reanimate with AI. If I just click reanimate here, then it is 0 credits. If I try to reanimate, but I like put in like let's say I replace this image with the old image, like or this animation, I entered an old image or I uploaded an image, then at that point you will have to pay for the animation. It's no longer considered a reanimation. Um, quickly on this, I think I was about to show you all how the characters. Oh, yes. Let's go back here. So, actually, no, I don't want to mess this one up. So I'm going to do this on a different one. I'll do this one because it's one. So this is just one thing. This was a UGC style.
I love my Bounce Retro sneakers. I
Right.
love my Bounce Retro.
And just for the sake of showcasing kind of what lip sync would look in here, because this is probably Jamie talking. Yeah. Um, okay, so actually, so I'm not gonna do this one. Let's go back here. Okay, so let's say it did cast the wrong character. First, please do check. Like that's generally what happens. It's just, you need to scroll all the way and make sure that you check the full casting. And if it's in desktop, make sure you check the full casting and that like some random person didn't get casted as a character. Um, again, like one easy thing to do here for casting, just before I showcase how to do that after a video has been created. Story about just um so let's say for instance a character got cast here that you did not actually want to be a character in your video, and this tends to happen when you are uploading a script and it's like an explainer video about something, but maybe it incorporates like people showing things, etc. So like Leo here did not get cast. Leo doesn't get cast because Leo's a kid. So there are no like kid stock characters, right? Leo's an 8-year-old boy. We don't have an 8-year-old boy stock character. So right now it's not cast. And what not cast will do here is that it'll just like come up with something, um, which is which is not a great option if you're looking for a consistent character. So my suggestion here is like if you see the not cast option for a character that you're actually hoping looks consistent throughout, create a character. Another option for not cast is you're trying to create a character, but it's like a well-known person. Not cast is a good option there. Um, or you could also say remove Leo as a character. Now, this is probably not the best example because then it's going to remove Leo from the script, but something to just like keep in mind as you're seeing like random characters pop up in your script that you weren't hope like you actually had no intention of that character being in your script. You can try to remove them here. This is also a great place to add a character. So now it made it a child, which makes sense, right? Because the whole story was about a child. So actually, we do need a child. Um, Similarly, you can say like make Leo Lisa a girl or something, right? So these are just like a general some high level changes that you can make to your script. You can do this here, and that works for the characters as well. If you want to remove a character, add a character, change the gender of a character, change the general look of a character, and you haven't like necessarily cast them, here's where you could do that. Now, if you have very specific changes for that character, let's say just, that child is Alice in Wonderland, but then you're like, no, Alice in Wonderland is totally wrong, then here you actually do need to pick a different character. That would be my suggestion, not trying to change it here. So there's some things that you can also do in the change script modal. Okay, let's go back to our video. So here we are. We've animated this thing.
Some sneakers try too hard. Others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers and feel as cool as you look.
Okay, so here, um, it starts to do a 360, but it's slow, so it's probably not showing the full 360 video because all it says is meet the Bounce Retro sneakers. Um, so a little bit of a hack that I could do here. I want to see how long this video is actually. So I'm gonna just move things around and kind of see.
Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers and feel as cool as you look.
Even. Okay.
Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers and feel as cool as you look.
Okay. So I'm gonna steal some copy from this one. I don't at the top of my mind know how I want to market these sneakers. So I'll just use some language from other videos. All right, here, script, edit script. I'm gonna do, and kind of just to get a sense of how long that video actually is. So the video that you see is obviously dependent on the length of the narration. Right? It's everything about Hypernatural is narrator driven at this point in time. So it's highly dependent on how long that narration is. Um, Maybe let's try this. I'm trying to get my worth for that video if I wanted that video to be a little longer.
Cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers. Effortless, cool, and undeniable comfort, and feel as cool as you look.
And even this, like this is a very short clip.
Feel as cool as you look. Some sneakers try too hard. Other
Okay. So really, let's see. Yeah, let's see how long this is.
undeniable comfort, and feel as cool as you look.
How long is this video?
Comfort, and feel as cool as you look.
Even longer. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. So also a little bit of a hack. Gonna add this. I'm gonna repeat this line here.
Cool as you look, and feel as cool as you. Undeniable comfort, and feel as cool as you look.
Okay, so
And
that's
feel
where that ended. So let's see. Maybe what I want to do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go back to this original. So I'm just kind of just playing around with the timing a little bit. And one thing I want is maybe at the end, oh, I should have done this first. I want this to be a little longer. But what I'm gonna do, I know this might be confusing. Why are you adding the same sentence twice? I want to make that scene a little bit longer, but I'm actually gonna mute it. So it's just gonna be like them waving and music, but there actually won't be sound. So do this. I want to see if this is a good time. Good
feel
time.
as cool as you look, and feel as cool as you look.
Right. So Maybe this would have been better if she was the one walking towards her, but in the interest of time, we're going to keep as is. Um,
Some sneakers try too hard, others just show up and somehow make everything look cooler. Meet the Bounce Retro sneakers. Effortless, cool, and undeniable comfort.
okay, so again, if I wanted to take a little bit more time, I might add another scene here where I would add and feel as cool as you look or something, and then have this like final scene where I swap them. I would have her walking towards her, so having Aaliyah's back to us waving, and then Jamie walking towards her because Jamie's supposed to be the cool one in the Bounce Retro sneakers. But interest of time, I'm gonna leave this for now as is. So to animate at any at a time, so let's see if you want to use, I'm gonna go back to this video. This is a 20-second video. Ooh. Suggestion before you start animating things. Go through this, make sure the timing is right, think about how long each of these will be. Most animations won't be longer than like 8 seconds, and probably average around 5 seconds. So something just to think about when you're timing your narration. But definitely make the edits here first, the script, make the edits to the images, make sure everything foundationally looks right before you start to animate. And then here, right? So this is animating all of the scenes at once, and this is 165 credits. It's 15 credits per image at the moment. So if you wanted to do full motion here and just animate them all, also you can select the few that you want, right? You could be like, oh, I actually want to do only these. So now you're animating like 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to animate this one, right? Especially if you already have an animation for something that you'd rather use. So now you're animating about 5, and that's 75. 15 times 5. And then just out of curiosity, I want to go back and look at this
I love my Bounce Retro sneakers.
one. Okay, I would have to reanimate this, kind of play with the the lip sync here. Something to think about with lip sync, if for those of you that are using lip sync, and we're working on ways to improve this because obviously new models have come out that have improved lip sync as well. Um, Essentially what we're feeding the image or the animation prompt is say XYZ, like say these things. So it's trying as best as possible to get lip, the wording of it set up with the narration. And sometimes, if I'm doing this, especially if it's like a clip where I only have a couple of lip sync things, I might change the voiceover speed to try to get it to like work a little better
I love my Bounce Retro sneakers.
ish. So I would probably reanimate that. Okay, now we're going back to our product here. Um, we have about 7 minutes left, so I do just want to call out if folks have more questions, please do ask them now, and I can spend a little time going through questions. Otherwise, I'm going to spend time on the export flow to kind of just showcase how to export this video once you're done with it. Um, Sorry, something also just to highlight is this is like not doesn't get used. I don't know. I don't use it, but I know folks that use it, the brand thing. You could also go here and upload an image of like a logo or something. I don't have a logo here to upload, but let's say I upload the sneakers. I could then change where they go, right? So if you have like a logo that has like a no background, usually a PNG works better for this. You could get like a nice logo that's like across your entire video. So something just to consider if you do have a logo you want to show here. And this would be on every scene. Whereas, yeah, so just something to keep in mind. Now, if you only want it on one scene, another thing you could do is design. Actually, we're gonna click on this, uploaded. I actually do have, okay. And I can now go back to design here, and it gets added as, oh,
Some sneakers try too
I
hard,
replaced it.
others just show up.
Okay, go here. Let's do this again. Gonna go click on the scene again. I'm gonna go to media, uploaded, and I'm gonna add as a new layer. So now it gets layered over it. Sometimes people do this on accident, so I know that can happen, but ultimately what it does is that it layers the new image on top of the old, And the reason that a use case for this that is helpful is then adds it here, and you can like move it around, change the size, and this is a way that you can add like a logo to just one page, right? If you want it just at the beginning or just at the end, this is a way to do that um, without having to add it to the entire thing via the brand. Oh, and yes, so you can a couple of things on transitions. So in the design tab, so again, if you click on a specific scene and not media, but this design tab, I know it's confusing. There are two design tabs. So this is our global design. This is for the entire video. But if you click on a specific scene, you'll open up this design tab, which is specific to this scene. You then have transitions here, and you can edit the transitions into the video and out of the video. But this is clip by clip. If you wanted to set the transitions across the entire video, you would come up here, edit the transitions, and then apply to all. So if I wanted to say none and apply, I could apply them to all at once. And that includes setting the speed. And then if it's dependent on the thing, so like slide, I can set the direction, and then apply that to all scenes. So that's how you would edit those transitions. Now quickly, this is going to bug me, so I'm going to go and replace this generated. Oh, and then here, if you do accidentally add a layer, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do with this thing? You would go into design, again, click the scene, click on design, and then you open the tab called image one or video one if you uploaded a video, and then remove it. So then it goes away. For captions, I can hide captions for a scene or hide them for the entire video. So for this, I'm going to hide for the video. And the reason for that is sometimes when you upload things to like LinkedIn or YouTube, it'll auto add captions. So if you don't want the overlay of both captions, then you can just use the ones that get uploaded via or get shown via the social media channels. But if you want more control over what those captions look like, definitely do the ones here. Okay, and now for sharing and exporting. So access is unlisted, is by default unlisted, which means you can share this link with anybody. And as long as they have access to that link, they can open it. Um, or if you want it private, meaning no one can see it, even if they go to the link, it'll just say like can't view or something. You can set it private here. So something to consider. Resolution, if you're a paid subscriber, you might as well do highest resolution. And then also you can connect directly to YouTube and TikTok for 50 credits. And then just automatically update to YouTube or TikTok here. You can only connect to one account at a time. But then if you'd like to manage your connections, you would do it here. So in your profile settings, manage connections, and then you can swap out your accounts here. Okay. So again, it defaults to unlisted and standard. So just, keep in mind how you're doing this. And now that I've done share and copy link, you'll see I can copy this link and I can open it. And here it is. And it also shows me, the prompt here and the characters. And I can also here mark it private so that no one else can open it other than myself when I'm logged in. Oh, this is the old video. So because it hasn't fully finished exporting yet, I was going to say that was really fast. So now it's showing the latest version. So now when you go back to this, it'll show the latest version. Yes, and you'll see her with her sneakers walking the street, and you'll see Aaliyah at the end. Yep, this is the latest version. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll spend a couple minutes on these last two questions. If you upload a video with audio in it, can you mute the audio from the scene but not the narration? No, right now we don't have a way to separate the audio track from the uploaded video or so no, unfortunately there isn't a way to do this, but that is a great question and I will share that with the team. Export failed. Oh, for export failures, this is waiting for yeah, you can send this to our help channel and we'll take a closer look. Sometimes it's just like a blip, something happened, but if you're seeing this consistently, then we should take a closer look at your account. So you can email help help@hypernatural.ai. Um, we are a very small team of about 6 people, so we will do our best to get back to folks as messages come in. But we do have someone that supports with our help desk. So within 3 to 5 business days, we try to get people those answers. All right. So that is everything we have for today. I will be uploading this to YouTube. Again, you can see all of our past recordings on YouTube as well. So if you want to see the initial video of how this ad was created, we went a little bit more into the beginning of how to make a video. You can watch Hypernatural 101. This was a session that happened last week. And then I will upload the one for this week. And yeah, if you have anything else, like please do feel free to message us at help@hypernatural.ai. Okay, have a good one.